Early January 2025 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails and video clips. I'm shooting the start of this inside because it's so cold out, certainly after having my hair cut, that you'll see in the photo trail. So we start off here and I'll run into the clip that was shot, what it was, a couple of weeks ago as the introduction. So no Christmas tree now. Everything's a mess, of course, including the games room. No work in there. And this is where I'm going to put my hood up because it's so cold. It's getting warmer than it has been, but the trouble is I had my hair cut, and you'll see that in the sequence. So we're going out. No Homer, he's been taken down. Robot boat's still there. Some of the dustbins have been taken away. Anyhow, we start the clip from about here, which is the standard introduction. Yes, we're starting with the standard introduction, where we live at 22 Armitage Court in Sunninghill. Warning signs about various guard cats. This spot, known as Robin's Corner, is where GPS was tested from the late 1980s, down at this spot. And in fact, that's the bit of garden sculpture that June got Robin for a birthday present several years ago. There's the oak tree that sprung up from an acorn in the early 80s, I think that was, if not a little bit earlier. And there is the accommodation for owls that's only been used by guard cats. Yes, cameras and mirrors everywhere. There is Homer on guard duty. There's the robot boat. Lots of work needed on it before it can make an Atlantic attempt. That's Snoopy the Viking just there. Here's June's car with promotion of the website gpss.co.uk. that was a business decades ago, is now hobbies like the robot boat and charitable causes. There's Robin's bicycle. Hasn't had a chance to use that yet. Here's the accommodation for guard cats. Yeah, there's the sign again. And also armed mice. Can't be too careful going around. Yeah, they're all over the place. But we do have signs. Beware of the mouse. Perhaps that should say mice. Then we're making our way towards the front door, but before that, that camper was used to take Snoopy's robot boat down to the coast for Atlantic attempts, and there's the warning sign. Battle damage. June said Robin did it. Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. Yes, that's the flatulent fairy. Lots of expensive jewellery on her. If anybody's interested in trying to steal any, but I wouldn't recommend it. And peanuts everywhere. Yes, automatic bird feeders. I say bird feeders, it's peanut feeders. There's all sorts of... Oh, that thermometer's shifted. Bit of garden maintenance, I'll have to do it sometime. Signs everywhere. This is where I'm obliged to, I don't know whether I can do this, I'm obliged to read out these signs for health and safety reasons. These have been here some time. That's June just coming down the stairs. Closed circuit TV, hidden TV cameras inside and outside this house. Sound and videos monitored in local houses and elsewhere. Now, of course, I must emphasise these are just jokes, because people will say, oh, you daren't say that. So it says, no trespassing. Violators will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. Yeah, there's another camera. But that's my study in there. Do not disturb. I'm disturbed enough already. But this sign is probably the most important because it's not just cameras you have to worry about. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock, beware of web cameras and water squirters loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agents. Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Just a joke, of course. Right, I think it's safe to go into the house now. Now I've got to... This is going to be difficult because I've got to try and get the key out of my pocket. Here we go. Right. So into the house safely, and yes, not easy. My cameras aren't working, so I'm having to use this smartphone. And what shall we go to next? Probably into the lounge, which isn't too bad. This is Lady, Michelle's pussycat, who's on temporary guard duty. Hello, Lady. I hope you're not dozing on duty. So the lounge isn't too bad in terms of tidiness. Yes, Christmas decorations, including the fairy at the top here. And one of the uses of these videos is to encourage guys who may make offer for property maintenance. And of course, that's lots of things. I mean, for example, this is the games room that you can see is very untidy. And yes, I do take some responsibility for this, although not that. What's this? Robot boat related thing, like testing a servo to death. Lots of other stuff here. So it gives you a flavour of it. And of course the photo trails show that. And do a quick glance into the kitchen, because June seems to be there. And gosh, that's a surprise. There's tennis on the television. I think that's from Perth, Australia, but not sure. Oh, there we go. Say hello, June. Okay. No, she still has hair problem with cough and cold. It's been lasting for practically a year now. Right, so now we're going to go and do a quick tour of the garden, because I haven't spoken about Baldrick's cunning plans. Try not to trip over things. Baldrick's cunning plan last year, which was very good, was to create space in the garden. And I'll go quickly to that. Past the telescope. I built the optics for that when I was a boy at school still. That's the main mirror down the end there. No chance to do any work on that for decades. And down past the sundial. This is the workshop area. That's the laboratory there. And the metal detectors. This is the area that was created to create space for tools. There, even got a vice. A workshop area, but lots of spare space for tools to be put in the right place. And we made a start. The main thing is there's no lack of space for putting up extra hooks and things. So now, hammers, files, spanners, this could still be improved, garden stuff. The key thing is it's all out in the open. And when you find, that saw, we'll say, may look new, but it's not that good compared with the other saws, it can be thrown away. But you don't throw away the good stuff. That's looking through the window into the laboratory. Mostly robot boat electronics. We'll have a glance of that. Here we go, robot boats. That's the smallest that's successfully sailed, not across the Atlantic. And lots of other stuff up here. And that's the main work area, if and when I get a chance. They're the bits up here in various photo trails, which are often useful from the last attempt. Bits of rusty that you can no longer buy, but they can be a useful guide, or they have little bits inside them. Right, while we're down this in the garden, we'll use the opportunity to take a glimpse. Yes, that's a sundial, and that's the main sundial, made with a couple of old saws you see there for the main means of casting the shadow. And that's a reference sundial, so we can check things out, but the shadow is cast by that globe and that. And of course sundials work in Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, but British summertime is 1 hour added to that. Lots of stuff, all overgrown. Look, that's an easy job, I reckon, to cut this back lawn with the tools, including getting the tools out, is no more than about half an hour work. We'll take a walk down here. This is coming out lovely, sweetly smelling stuff. Do you know the name of it? So we're down to the bottom area here. Oh yes, primroses coming out right through the year, it seems. Down to the third pond. Oh, did I say pond? No. Bog area. Work needed there, simple work. So that plastic's covered. That hawthorn doesn't seem to have survived. That one has, and that one I think as well. And this was June's bright idea, to protect things like bird boxes, or even within there, from cats. So birds may choose to nest. So I'm now working my way around the back garden. Yes, lots of rubbish here, although some stuff is not so much rubbish. Quite nice bits of furniture, really. Yeah, so no lack of space for putting stuff to rot down, just needs chopping it all up. Yes. Looking up, there's a bat box. No bats have chosen to do it, and further up, maybe accommodation for squirrels, but I don't think they are nesting here. Similar way that is, this comes into flower, that creeper. Can't remember the name of it now. So just showing you more space. Mowing the lawn, easy, just look down the end and there's a fly mow. And there's a strimmer. And there's various other tools, including gloves. So that was Baldrick's cunning plan a year or two back to create space in the garden, and good help was had by me from Paul over at Probham, point out things, but we still got lots more work to put things in the right place. Yeah, so there's Gingy, or Fart a Lot, as Samantha, no, Michelle christened him that. More cat forts, bug palaces. So a lot of work has been done in the last year or two, but it hasn't been completed from the point of view of things put in the right place. So we've cleared junk out of the house, decided what junk to throw away, but kept the important stuff. So I may as well use the opportunity to go around the side of the house. Great risk of tripping over things because everything's overgrown. This is June's greenhouse. She's responsible for that lot. And there's a hawthorn tree. I think that's may have survived. Coming around the side. Sorry about the politically incorrect decorations on things. And where we keep stuff, I say junk, it's often useful stuff. Pipes or whatever. The taps for various sources of water, including water squirters, some of them. Yeah, wood around the side here, and then working our way round to behind where the dustbins are kept, which you've already seen. So I think that's the tour as of this shot just after Christmas 2024. So there might be changes if this introduction appears before some other photo trail into 2025. But yeah, coming back past the pond, very pleased with the work there. It just needs tidying up, and yes, the leak in the pond fixed, and lots of other bits and pieces. So let's go into those photo trails and possibly video clips, but mostly photo trails, starting about here. Wednesday the 1st of January 2025. Started with this photo that appears later of Utah and myself at Castleman House. Yes, so got the Spot T2 spare tracker working, same tracker that goes in the boat, or same type of tracker. And yes, Homer looks a bit deflated. The wind had blown him over, and I'd seen things had come disconnected. Yeah, what do you do? Well, it's not a job for Robin. Yes, there's Lady relaxing, Michelle's pussycat, and they're watching something on the kitchen TV. So, listening to the Radio 4 news, and yes, June had rustled up some food, so forced myself to eat that. Yes, that camera's playing up, but the video ended up on YouTube, and I took the cue ball down to the Comrades Club. I didn't realise what would actually happen down there, which is went down to the Comrades Club and got a communication from Utah, Frank. He suggested I pop round and visit him at Castleman House. I had a few minutes there, including chatting with the other ladies, and popped into the Comrades Club for a few minutes, and before going back home. Yes, with a deflated Homer. So back into the house. Yes, they've moved into the lounge now, watching whatever that stupid drama was. Yes, and the YouTube video was almost ready to be uploaded, and I in fact came back later, and yeah, after an hour's sleep. And there's Lady. So that's the end of the summary. I think we're now going into the photos and the order shot, including that the spare Spot 2 tracker now seems to be working after the necessary setup. So it's back in June's car, and the robot boat's there. Yes, Homer's deflated. I took a close look at that. Yes, that's all come unplugged, but no, that's a job for Samantha, aided by me if needed. And of course Michelle is here, and there's Michelle's pussycat, Lady. So I'm relaxing for a little while. Yes, there's the spare. What is that? That's checking a servo to death. Yes, put the peanuts out. You can see it's light, so it's middle of the afternoon. And put things back in the right place, or the right place for the moment. Yes, not many of those had gone, but I topped them up. That's on the front porch near the flatulent fairy. And yeah, just looking around. Yes, no real change there. And yeah, so the peanuts go back in the right place. Right place for now. And yes, just a snapshot. No change in that room. We had a bit of a doze for a few minutes. And yeah, so you can see it's a bit darker now. What's that? 20 to 6 in the evening. Yes, processing of that video to go on YouTube. They're watching some. No. And yeah, so it is actually giving reports now on a regular basis. I think that's typically every 10 minutes if it's moved. And yeah, so taking the food now into the naughty corner in the lounge, and yeah, every now and again check how the processing's going on that video that will go up onto YouTube. Take my cue ball, the leaded one, down to the Comrades Club, and left Lady there in the kitchen with the women watching tennis now, or at least June is now watching tennis. And I off down past the flatulent fairy on the front porch, past Homer, very deflated, and off down to the village and into the Comrades Club. Yeah, it's all overexposed, I'm afraid that's that camera. And then, after speaking to Frank, I thought I'd make my way round to Castleman House. So I took a few photos as best I could. Yes, you could just about read it, it's all overexposed. And followed the necessary procedure at the front. And yes, checked. And then came in and spent a few minutes there. Only took that, well, one of the ladies took one photo of that there. And then made my way back into the village and into the Comrades Club, only for a few minutes. Well, maybe a bit more than a few minutes. And then made my way home, and yeah, got home, past deflated Homer, into the house. Oh yes, and the flatulent fairy. Oh yeah, now they've grabbed the lounge along with Lady, and they're watching whatever that drama was. Don't know. I checked in and I could see it was coming along, and I made a guess on when it would be finished. Yeah, very close. So I think I went up to bed then. I'll put things back in the right place. They're left watching that, and then I popped back later. Yeah, fingers crossed, he says. Anyhow, that went up onto YouTube. Yes, I went up for bed there, but then came back down. And yes, those photos didn't come out, but it was up on YouTube. Okay, and I updated the newsletter to link to it. So, that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 2nd of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot that day. Yes, renewing my BMFA membership and decided to take a walk down to the village. Of course, down to the Blend and Brew Cafe. Yes, there's Homer, terrible state, no work done on that. And into the Blend and Brew, enjoyed my coffee and late breakfast or lunch. Yes, into the Comrades Club, a little bit of time there, and yes, then back out and back home. Yes, they're watching the news, I think. And yes, there's Lady, Michelle's pussycat, relaxing in the lounge. Yes, I checked the tracker, just check it's working. Yes, it is. Anybody could see where I was, included in the Comrades Club. And then the spare Spot T2 tracker, and that's working well. Showed June taking a shopping visit to Waitrose in Sunninghill, and so that worked well, as well as the other trackers. Yes, peanuts, and I couldn't work out where that top had gone. I looked at closed circuit TV, but ended up just replacing it. The little flower pot, plastic flower pot. Yes, so that's back end of the day. Yes, there's the pussycats prowling around. June rustled up some food, so I took that chicken casserole, I think that was. Yes, there's foxes live. A fox on the top bridge. Yes, take my cue ball down to the Comrades Club. Leave them watching whatever it was. And yeah, that was an enjoyable time. Of course, very few photos taken, but great fun. Yes, I didn't tell them that there was a leaded cue ball until they'd played the whole game. Anyhow, back home, and yes, the flatulent fairy on the doorstep, and yes, they're watching some drama or other, and one of the closed circuit TV channels has gone. There's a little job finding out. Anyhow, time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos in the order shot. Yeah, so that worked out very well. I've been doing that for don't know how many decades, phoning up BMFA and renewing my membership by phone rather than online. And yes, there's Toadie prowling around. Yes, the untidy games room. Glance out, and yes, just a record of all that junk that's got to be cleared up. Looks like I'm off down to the village. Oh yes, the expensive jewellery on the flatulent fairy on the doorstep. And yes, nothing's been done about Homer. Terrible state he's in. I wonder who's going to do that, if and when. Anyhow, yeah, bright sunlight. The road ahead was closed. I'm not sure. Probably the other end of the village. I didn't get a chance to check it out. Yeah, there's pictures being overexposed, and do the best I can with the camera. Into the blend and brew. Enjoyed my food, coffee and conversations there. Thoroughly enjoyable. And where did I go next? Oh yes, popped into the Comrades Club. That was the first time that day, and as always hardly took any pictures, but it was an enjoyable time. And then coming out, looking down and back up the road home. Yes, you can see the sun's getting lower. Yeah, that's overexposed. I'm not sure what that was. It might have been a crescent moon, and it reminds me that it's probably got other pictures from my smartphone. Might be able to offload those with any luck. Anyhow, back into the house, and yeah, Eunice and Michelle, I think, watching the news. There's Lady in the lounge, Michelle's pussycat. Yes, check the tracker, confirm it's still working. Yes, anybody interested could say, oh, looks like Robin's in the Comrades Club, or wherever it was before that. And yes, look at those stripes due to shutter speed, I think, but it's too much trouble to keep changing things. Yeah, back home here. So what else have we got? Oh yes, check the Spot T2 tracker, the Satcoms tracker, same type that goes in Snoopy's boat, and that was working well. That was after setting it up, and it's now reporting every 10 minutes. I think that's looking good, including getting back home. So then check the other tracker, the one that June normally carries around on a key ring. Yes, and that showed her, obviously updated far more frequently, but not Satcoms. Yeah, that's good as well. Yeah, time to put the peanuts out. And of course that thing, where the hell did it get to? I ended up finding another little flower pot to do the job. It was basically to stop things like mice getting down into the that tube and not being able to get out as the peanut level goes down. Anyhow, yeah, don't know about that. So what else we got here? Oh yeah, going out to put peanuts out. Yeah, on the roof feeder. You see me doing that on the closed circuit TV. There you go, a few minutes later. So June's watching something there with Michelle and Lady, Michelle's pussycat. Looks like June's rustled up food, chicken casserole I think that was. Now, do you want any, Toadie? No, he says, I prefer my stuff. So I take mine through into the lounge and into the naughty corner where I can sit in a much more comfortable seat and watch. Yes, there's a fox coming to the top bridge just outside the back. That's live. And yeah, it's back in the kitchen. There's Toadie in the hall. Listen to the Radio 4 news. Looks like there's my cue ball going down to the Comrades Club. Force myself just for the exercise, of course. Yeah, so there's, not sure where the road was closed, but not to worry. Into the Comrades Club. Yes, had my 0% Peroni and took very few photos, but had a bit of fun with young kids. Is not very respectful way of referring to them when they're a lot younger than yourself. Often they've got more knowledge. Right, back home. Yes, there's the flatulent fairy. and they're watching some drama or other. Yes, you might recognise those guys. Yes, put the cue ball back where it belongs. Yes, that camera's gone, and so yes, it's somewhere in there. It could be anywhere along the path in terms of a bad connection or fault. So I was able to track down when it was playing up, but no time to do anything about that in the near future. Yes, boring stuff they're watching. Yeah, put the tracker on charge, and yeah, there's lady in the kitchen, that is. Make sure June's tracker's on charge as well. So, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 3rd of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot that day. Yes, somebody crept down their drive, and since it was very icy again, had managed to write a message on both cars. Don't know who that was. Yes, Homer's still deflated. Lady relaxing in the kitchen. Yes, first photos after about midday. And who should be arriving but Stuart, to act as chauffeur to the cricketers' pub for pub lunch. And so we enjoyed our conversations, including about technical things, it seems. Back home, and to coffee round at Richard and Faye's, but I pop in for a few urgent things, like checking that the jewellery was still intact on the flatulent fairy outside. Nobody had stolen that. And June's watching tennis from China. Yes, only takes a moment to check the tracker. Yes, anybody could see where we were, or where Robin was, or where his tracker was. Back home. So, over to Richard Faye's for coffee, cake and chat. And that was the topic of conversation. The magazine. And put it back where it belongs. Yes. Seems two magazines could be confused between the two of them. Yes, back end of the day. Lady wasn't interested in my food. Yet another curry, that was. Take it into the naughty corner, then, must get some exercise walking down to the village, into the Comrades Club. Yes, yeah, no pictures taken inside, came back out. A lot of fun though. And back home, yes, June's watching the telly. Yeah, coming up. Well, it's not that late, was it? Time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. So now all the photos. Yes, the car was running to warm it up. And then, of course, it was easier to write on there. Allegedly. Yeah, bright sunlight, but very cold. And Samantha came out to empty the dustbins, or whatever it was. Yes, I wonder who did that. Right, so looks like June's having a cup of coffee. They're watching tennis from wherever it was, somewhere in China, I think. And Lady Michelle's Pussycat's relaxing in there. Right, just after midday. Yes, that closed circuit TV channel still bad. Oh, yes, of course. On schedule, Stuart arrives. Great that he was able to make it. And I was looking forward to the rest of them being transported on the roof of one of their cars. Right, past a few landmarks on the way, including the Windmill Pub along the A30. And yes, we're there. Look at that, underexposed. The cricketers, that came out. So enjoyed our time there. And yes, something technical being discussed there. Another overexposed picture. I'll do the best I can with that camera. It's better than nothing. Back home over the border into Berkshire, past the Berestede Hotel, and into Armitage Court. Lovely bright sun. Right, pop in quickly, just checking a few things like emails. No need to answer them, but just see what's there in case there's anything urgent. And prepares one if you have a phone call. Yes, there's the expensive jewellery on the flatulent fairy. Still there. And yeah, they're watching the tennis from China. Yes, check the tracker, as I mentioned in the summary. And yes, all boring stuff for most people, but very useful. And yes, and that's where we're going next. Over for coffee, cake and chat. Yeah, so over to Richard and Faye's and popped back and picked up 2 copies of 2 magazines. One is the original Parish magazine, which obviously has changed in terms of ownership and everything, but is essentially the same, with the same pattern of advertisements and all the rest of it, local information. And another one seems to be in competition with it. Anyhow, that's Lady Relaxing in the Kitchen, Michelle's Pussycat. Yeah, so 4:05 in the afternoon. Yeah, so, oh yes, it does show Robin where he was, a few yards away. And yes, got back home okay. Yeah, well, it was quite a long way, was it? 100 or 200 yards. Watching the news for the look of it. There's Lady relaxing in the kitchen. And yeah, that channel, the closed circuit TV, is still not working. Sometime or other, somebody may get a chance to have a look at it. It's a matter of priorities. Oh yes, the yeah, pictures. I'm not sure about that camera. We'll do best we can with it. Listening to the Radio 4 News. Yeah, processing a video, putting a commentary on it, like for the day before, like I'm doing now for this one. Yeah, June playing some game, and the news about the meteor showers. Yes. Yeah, time to put the peanuts out. Some of them anyhow, like on the top bridge. Had a bit of a doze, not for very long though. Dinner, June called, so yet another curry. I'd had curry in the middle of the day, but I had another one. Yes, lady wasn't very interested in eating it, but I took it into the lounge, into my naughty corner, sat in front of the closed circuit TV. Then I thought, well, I did a bit of exercise, better take a walk down to the Comrades Club. They're watching some drama or other on the TV. So look at all that. Yes, that must have been out of one of the cars, probably Samantha's car. Might just be molten ice. Into the Comrades Club. No pictures taken, just out. Lovely time there though, thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, back home. Yes. Into the house. Yes, they're watching, what's it, Mr. Ross show. And yes, Toadie's in the lounge. Yeah, check the tracker again. Yes, anybody could see. Robin's in the Comrades Club. Oh, when he came out and walked down the road. Yes. And looks like he got in okay. Back to 22 Armitage Court. Just here. Yes. 5 to 11. No, it's not too late. Put things back where they belong. Time for bed. That's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 4th of January 2025. Starting with a summary of the photo shot that day. Yes, it ended with some snow, which affected my walk back from the Comrades Club. But no problem. Anyhow, yes, I spent much of the day sending off emails. All hard work. Basically touching base with friends around the world. And yes, June's watching the tennis, just for a change. So I'm off the middle of the afternoon into the Blend and Brew Cafe. Yeah, have coffee and a bite to eat, chat, then back home. Oh, via the Comrades Club, did pop in there for a few minutes as well. Yeah, still watching tennis from Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, check the tracker. Anybody could see where Robin was, including where he stopped in the village and getting back home. Just here. Yes, there's Lady, Michelle's pussycat. Yeah, a bit more work on that. And also replies back from old friends like Pete Wilson from Ferranti days, and took all the photos at our wedding back in '71. Yeah, back end video chat as well as food with family, and time to stretch my legs and get some exercise down to the Comrades Club. And lovely time there, but when I came out, we'd had a bit of snow. Yeah, there's footprints, foxes. So back home, yeah, there's the snow, and past the flatulent fairy into the house, and they're watching something or other, whatever it is. Jonathan Ross, would it be? Oh no, there's Lady. Yeah, so that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos in the order they were shot. Very similar things, really. Yes, hard work, all that. Typing emails, or copying stuff. And yeah, so 20 past 1 in the afternoon that was. Yeah, there's the tennis. So I'm off to the village, past the flatulent fairy and Homer. No work been done on that, or the boat. Yeah, down into the village and into the Blend and Brew. And yes, I only took a picture or two, but just I was leaving. And I wonder if you can read that. I think somebody's written bum on the misted up window. It's the second time I've seen that done. Into the Comrades Club, yeah, so it was football, I think. And then back, making my way back home. Much easier when the light's okay. Yeah. And past Homer, nothing's been done on that front. In fact, nothing's been done on any front, as far as I know. Oh dear, that's phone call. I'll let that ring. I'll handle that later. That would confuse you. I'll ring it back. And I think I'll guess who it is, but not to worry. Yes, so yeah, I was back home there. You're going to be really confused by that phone call. And that's Pete Wilson. The photos he took at our wedding on the Ferranti page, that is. And there is Michelle's cat Lady in Robin's seat. Yes, I'm supposed to sit there. Mind you, she did shift herself later. Watching something or other. Yeah, carrying on with getting those emails off. Obviously tailored for each person. And yes, but June's rustled up. Looks like fish. Yeah, does Lady want any? No, I don't think so. So take that into the naughty corner. Then the video chat starts with family, so we're all sort of listening. Time to go down to the Comrades Club. I think they were still chatting. More or less finished there. So I know that snow had been forecast, but when I walked down there was a little bit of drizzle with that. But when I came out, there was a lovely time in there. Yeah, snow. So I had to walk carefully, but it wasn't too slippery, and it was interesting. Yeah, occasionally you'd see little paw prints there. That's fox, I think. And yeah, making my way into Armitage Court, up to our place. Yes, there's Homer. There's the corner with snow on it. Down the drive, past the flatulent fairy, into the lounge. Yes, what they were watching with Lady. Now, Lady's not very interested in it. And yes, it was a bit cool, and I did get a little bit damp. But yeah, easy solution. I put that on the radiator to dry it out. So, time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 5th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot. Yes, that's Lady Michelle's pussycat hiding under the chair in the kitchen. And yes, yeah, didn't take any photos till then. Took the cue ball, but that was just in case I went into the Comrades Club, which I did afterwards. Down, yeah, the snow had all gone from the previous day, and into the blend and brew. Yes, lovely food. That was Rob, the new chef from Ireland. And yes, there's Alice and Abhishek. Yes, a lovely meal there. And then into the Comrades Club. Yeah, just a little while there. Ah, that tells you. 2 Guinness. That was with Utah. Yeah, time watching football and chatting. Lovely. Back home. Yeah, getting the evening now. There's, yes, checking lots of things. Anybody could see where I was in the time I spent in the Comrades Club before getting back home. Put the peanuts out. Yeah, that's all gone on that feeder on the front porch. And we're now getting ready to, with expensive jewellery on June, to go round to Stuart and Angela's for, yeah, took a bottle of wine from Etna, that is. They don't grow very much wine on the very top. Yeah, so off down again. So where are we off to now? Down to the village, by the look of it, into the Comrades Club. Yeah, back home, and yes, got home safely, put things back where they belong. Time for bed, so that's the end of the summary. So these are the photos in the order shot, starting with trying to get photos of Lady hiding under the chair. That's probably the chair that Michelle was sat on. Was it? I don't know, might have been June. Yeah, 20 to 3 in the afternoon. Yeah, so I'm going to take a late lunch. Armed with the cue ball in case I go into the Comrades Club after, which I did. Oh, that was interesting history they were looking at on the TV. Makes a change for them to watch something interesting rather than boring tennis or something. Yeah, past the flatulent fairy with all that expensive jewellery. Nobody's tried to steal it, luckily. Peanuts there on the peanut feeder. Oh, that needs topping up. Something to be done later. Past, yes, Homer. Nobody's done anything about Homer. All deflated. So down through the village. Yes, all the snow has been washed away by the little bit of drizzle we had. And past the Comrades Club. And into the blend and brew. Lovely food. Yes, I mentioned before, Rob, the new chef, I think, did those finishing touches, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yes, there's Alice and Abhishek. And so back towards home, and a few places to recognise, into the Comrades Club. And yes, and I think I'd spoken, yes, and there are 2 Guinness, so that was, they're watching football, a lovely time spent chatting with Utia Frank. And yeah, back home, and of course we're going round to Stuart and Angela's later for drinks and nibbles, or nipples, sorry, I get it mixed up what it is, but yes, so plenty of time, 5:15. Yeah, check the tracker. Anybody could see where I was. Yes, including time spent in the Comrades Club and getting back home. Yes, all working okay. Back to 22 Armitage Court. And just here. Oh yes, checking a few things like that. Rig testing a servo to death for Snoopy's robot boat. Yeah, put a few peanuts out. Didn't come out very well there on the top bridge. That's all to do with the camera. All the peanuts are gone from the front porch bird feeder, so top that up. And that one's all fine. And yeah, it's just a glimpse of the untidy games room. No work done on that at all for months and months, practically years. Yeah, what do? Get somebody to help you. Looks like Michelle's not quite ready because her hair is still drying. June's got her expensive jewellery on to impress the neighbours. And that's where we're going, round to Stuart and Angela's. Yeah, we're late. We're supposed to be there at 7 o'clock. But, well, you know what it is, women getting ready. There's Lady, Michelle's pussycat. Right, so they're all practically ready now. Yes, bottle of wine, yes, from the slopes of Etna. And yeah, it looks like Samantha was having a snack. Well, I'm suitably smart, aren't I? And there's the flatulent fairy. And so we're leaving, only just round the corner, about 1 minute's walk, I suppose. Yeah, and then we got back again. There was no photos in the middle, but that's where we went. Anybody could see. It was an absolutely lovely time, but meeting and chatting to neighbours. So, and there was still time for me to pop down to the Comrades Club, just to see who was there and what was going on. So, popped in there, only for a little while. And yes, then came out and got back home. Yes, there's a flatulent fairy. Yes, there's me getting back home on the tracker. And yeah, put the cue ball back where it belongs and put the tracker on charge. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 6th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photo shot and that fierce little doggy in the Blend and Brew cafe in the village. Yes, Homer was taken down and June's watching tennis from Adelaide, and Samantha's doing the same in her room. Yeah, they're not really rushing to do work, or important thing is Samantha isn't, but I forced myself to go down, this is afternoon, down into the Blend and Brew, enjoy my coffee, food and cake, and there's the little doggy. And yes, into the Comrades Club for a little while. Somebody's got to do it. And enjoyable conversation with Pam near that broken fence. And yeah, back home. Yes, they'd had the garage open. I ran the car but it didn't start. So that needs charging up on the list of things to do. Yes. Looks like June's decided to take the Christmas tree down without help from Samantha, although I think Samantha did eventually come down and help her. So, looks like time to me go down to the village again, this time into the Raj Fuge, and force myself to have a meal there. Onion barges. Enjoyable time there. And yeah, then into the Comrades Club. And force myself to spend some time there as well. Till getting back home, and of course they're watching something on the television in the lounge. Mind you, it's only 9:15. So early night, I had a hard day. And so that's the end of the summaries. Now the photos in the order shot. And Yes, there's the Christmas tree still up, and there's Homer still up. Yes, all fallen to bits. So, work to be done. Yes, there's the robot boat. No work been done on that either. And yes, June's watching the tennis from Adelaide and having a lunch by the look of it. Yes, I take my cue ball in case I go into the Comrades Club. And yes, there's Samantha watching the tennis on the television in her room. So I only go down there for the exercise, past the flatulent fairy, past Homer, and down into the village. Yes, there's the little tortoise. Go slow, it says. Yeah, past a few places on the way, including the Comrades Club and where the Bandsaws live. And yeah, Flame Cabana, and into the Blend and Brew. Yeah, lovely meal. And yes, that little doggy. Lovely little guy. Right, so I think it was a lady actually. Yes, and then where next? Into the Comrades Club, it seems. And yeah, and then had a lovely conversation with Pam. It was lives down there. Lots of topics we discussed. So then you can see it's getting a little later. By the sun is getting low, probably sunset by then. So get back. Yeah, there's the robot boat, is still there. And of course Homer looked as though he's just been dumped in the garage, not put in a cardboard box. I tried to start the car to keep the battery going, but no, it didn't, so it needs charging. On the list of things to do sometime or other. Yeah, there's still junk from the decorations on the doorstep and in the hall. But trouble is, June takes all the work on herself, and of course it's a case of getting Samantha to come out and do it, so she learns how to do it. There's me checking the tracker. Anybody could see what Robin was up to until he got back here. There's Toadie, looks as though he's relaxing in the lounge as well. There's Lady, Michelle's pussycat. That's in my chair. Yeah, so then June decided, she's going to start taking down the Christmas tree bits. Takes time, of course, because they all have to be put away. And Michelle was helping her. Well, Michelle's a good person to overview and tell people how to do things. Oh yes, I got on with my new yarns page, or it's a page that had been there a long time, and putting more in it, and moving stuff from other places. Yes, there's Lady in Robin's chair. There's Toadie hiding and playing about on the stairs. There's Samantha off to tennis again. Lady relaxing. Right, so that's probably wiping some of the moisture off the car. He says, what am I going to do? Well, I might have to force myself to go down to the village, into the Comrades Club. And in fact, there wasn't the Comrades Club, that was the Raj Vuj I was pointing to further down. And yeah, so camera doesn't work very in the low light. Probably does if you keep changing the shutter speed, but haven't got the time to do that if I want to take a picture quickly. Yeah, past a few landmarks as I walk down to the village, far end of the village. On the right is the Raj Vuj. Yeah, the elephants in the window. Lovely food, which is, I just had a light snack, onion bhajis. Enjoyed the time there. So making my way back up through the village, past what was the Jade Fountain, now the Jade, into the Comrades Club. Yeah, no photos, but enjoyable time. And back home, past the flatulent fairy, and they're watching something or other on the telly with Lady, Michelle's pussycat. think lady finds it equally boring. 9:15, so not that late in the night. So, hello lady. Yeah, early night. So that's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 7th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot that day. Yes, included Raj when we visited the Bansals. And yeah, put in a commentary on for the day before, like I'm doing now. And pub lunch with grumpy old men over the Red Line at Lightwater. Yes, enjoyable food and conversation and atmosphere. Then back home, yes, check the tracker. Anybody could see where Robin was and how much time he spent there. And yeah, and then across to Richard and Faye's for coffee and cake and conversation. Oh yeah, conversations with old friends like Martin. And yes, that's a very old photo, Martin, isn't it? And yes, try to start the car. No, familiar problem, but it's just a matter of having the time to do it or getting help. And yeah, and then down to join June down Bansals with doggy Romeo and Bal. Yes, and Raj. And then across the Flame Kebab for what I guess was a evening meal. And then into the Comrades Club. Yes, 0% Pisoni and Utah. Lovely conversation there. Of course, hardly any photos, but absolutely lovely time with the people there. And back home, yeah, they're watching something or other on the telly with Pussycat Lady, Michelle's Pussycat. Time for bed, so that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos and the order shot, starting with, yes, hard work that, putting a commentary on the video for the day before, a photo trail, and there's the study coming out of it. Everything's untidy, of course, just some rooms are more untidy than others. Yes, June's still busy without any help from Samantha. And yes, coming up to whatever time that was. Oh yes, midday. And Stuart arrives, acting as chauffeur, which he has done for several years now. And yeah, so we're off. Photo trail going on our way past the Windmill pub onto the A30. And oh yes, we did pop into that filling station so Richard could see where they could drop something off, but he couldn't. And yeah, so we're still making our way to Lightwater, past the church, and to the Red Lion pub. And yes, there's what I ate, my regular that is, a little record of what people were eating. Very nice. So good food, nice atmosphere, and conversation. So yes, probably can't read the menu and the prices. So we then leave. So similar trail going back and over the dual carriageway. All very blurred. Some of these things are a test of the camera and one's skill in using a tool that's not perfect. Of course, I'm not very skillful. Right, there we are, coming past into Armitage Court, and then I pop in home, check in things like emails and other quick checks. Yes, there's the flatulent fairy. Into the lounge. Yes, check my tracker on about it. And it takes a few seconds to take a few photos. Yes, showed spending time at the Red Lion and journey back. And that was in fact on their way there. That was stopping off at the filling station. Richard was hoping to drop something off there, but he couldn't. Yes, back home here. But he says, we're going over there, or I'm going over there. So I'm off across the road up to Richard and Faye's. listened to the Radio 4 news. Only took a few minutes just to hear the headlines. Right, and then when I come out, it's still light, as you can see. And June's watching the news, the TV in the kitchen. Yes, I checked the track. Anybody could see. Yes, Robin, what was he doing over there? And yes, that's the old photo that has been on my wall for years. And there's a conversation going on there. Oh yeah, and then I realised that hadn't been done. I'd left it too many days without the car running, and it wouldn't start. And I know that charger won't work, because the digital mechanism in it says, oh, the battery's too low, I won't do anything. And I think I tried the quick start battery pack and I had problems with that. But look, the garage is absolutely full of junk, and even Homer has just been thrown in there rather than packed away in his box. Anyhow, yet another example. What do? The answer is you get the right sort of help. Ah, what's that? Yes, that channel has suddenly started working on the closed circuit TV. Several days it hadn't been working, and I hadn't had time to track it down exactly. It might have been a bad connection or whatever. Oh, that looks like June on her way off down to the village to visit the Mansells. There's me checking when that closed circuit TV camera came back up, and yes, June's tracker shows her arriving at the Mansells. And yes, I thought, well, I'll go down to the village and I'll pop in there first, but of course there's other places I have to visit out of duty, like somewhere to eat, and of course the Comrades Club. And so down to the village, past the Comrades Club, into the Mansells, and doggy Romeo. Hello, Romeo. Yes, he likes licking people, don't you, Romeo? Very well behaved though, compared with what he used to be. Yes, hello, Raj. And yes, and then into the flame kebab. Yes, had my usual, and of course interesting conversations often with the guys in there. And then across into the Comrades Club and Utah, and yes, there we are, forcing ourselves to have Guinness and Peroni, and then out, because we were in there a long time. That isn't reflected by the photos. There's the Flatulent Fairy, and June and Michelle watching something or other on the TV in the lounge with Pussycat Lady. Lady doesn't have any interest in what's on the TV. Yeah, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 8th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot. Yes, I had my hair cut. That was after, and that was before. Yeah, that was after. And then into the blend and brew, and yes, nice meal. And I needed to get some cash, so I took a walk into One Stop, but their cash machine wasn't working, so further down past the Courts Hall and the cinema to the post office. Yes, used that. Oh yes, that was an interesting conversation piece. That apparently was a hit and run job. Not sure who was behind that. Anyhow, back home. Yes, June got back from the shopping, and Samantha actually helped her unpack it, the stuff, and put it away. Yeah, check the tracker. Anybody could see where I was, including visiting the post office. And yeah, back home with Toadie, relaxing. And then, yes, that must have been late in the day. June had rustled up food, and they're watching something on the telly. So I take a walk down to the village. You can guess where I'm going. Yes, into the Comrades Club. Lovely conversations there. And yeah, back home. Yeah, with the Flatulent Fairy. and lady Michelle's pussycat insists on sitting there. So time for bed, and that's the end of the summary. So now into all the photos in the order they were shot. Yes, starting with the lounge and Toadie relaxing there. Yes, put the cue ball in my pocket, the lead weighted one, in case I might need it. So 5 to 1 in the afternoon. Yeah, June's watching tennis from Australia, and past the flatulent berry and the bits from the decorations that still haven't been put away yet. Past the robot boat and down into the village. Oh yes, that water that comes out from the drive, I think I know the people, gets frozen. Oh yes, yes, the fishmonger from Grimsby, one of them. And further down, yes, Free Wine Barbers, my destination for having my hair cut. So that was before, and that was after. Then in the blend and brew, and yes, scrambled egg and smoked salmon on toast. And then needed some cash, so down over the railway into one stop, but their machine wasn't working, so further down past the school, St Michael's School, and the white bus coming up, and the cinema and the Cords Hall. Yes, major bit of local history that. And to the post office and the cash machine. Yeah, you pay a little bit for use of it, but certainly convenient. And yes, that was had been knocked down by a hit and run driver. You could say, now who would that have been, I wonder. And yeah, into the Comrades Club, and took no photos to speak of, but that was interesting conversations. So yes, past where that water's coming down the drive, and yeah, back home to the front porch. Yeah, June's got back from shopping, and Toadie's having a meal, and Samantha actually came down and helped her pack the shopping away. Checked the tracker. Anybody could see where Robin was, including visiting the post office. And they said, oh, I must have been picking up some cash. Oh yes, I got a phone call coming in, and yeah, I think that was Alexander on that occasion. And yeah, there's Toadie relaxing in the lounge. It's quite difficult. We tried to take a picture of him, he then moves. Oh yeah, just Tune's tracker, and that was working again. I showed her visit to Waitrose at Sunninghill. Thought she might have been going along to the other one. Oh yes, that photo came through from Enrico with names on it, and yeah, that was later in the evening. June had rustled up some food, so forced myself to eat it in the lounge, of course, in the naughty corner, and then thinking, where might I go next? Well, possibly the Comrades Club. Yeah, so of course my hood up, because that haircut means it's very cold at this time of the year. Less hair. Yeah, it's all overexposed. That's the only picture I took, I think, in there. Lovely conversations with people, including Curtis, and yes, sorry about that. Somebody seems to have crept down the drive and written that on the car. Yes. Yeah, Curtis and Sarah. Interesting when you get local knowledge that goes back a bit. Very interesting. Anyhow, yeah, check the tracker. Anybody could see when Robin came out of the Comrades Club. And got back home. 22 Armitage Court. Oh yeah, that was... Lady was prowling around. I was trying to get photos of her. Yes, back here. She was interrupting my photo trail. Yeah, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 9th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot that day. Yes, the cold weather had continued, clear skies in the day but freezing at night. Yes, I wonder who wrote that on there. And there's the two pussycats, Bentley from opposite, who spends his time over, and Toadie of course. June watching tennis just for a change in the kitchen. And yes, I did a bit of hard work, put in a commentary on the photo trail for the day before, like I am for this one. Yes, looks like I'm going to take a trip down to the village, probably to have something to eat. And yes, lovely blue skies everywhere. Into the Blend and Brew, after one or two other checking out, and into the Comrades Club. Yes, very quiet, but enjoyed a little bit of time there. And then back out, still sunny. Back home, yes, that's still there, hasn't melted. Yes, Michelle and Lady are in the lounge now. Yeah, check the tracker briefly. Yeah, anybody could see I was in the Comrades Club, and then walking home, and I got home okay. And June decided to do a bit of work. A little bit was with Samantha, but then she carried on, and I used the opportunity for a bit of a tour of the garden, and actually the moon didn't come out too badly there, probably all to do with light levels. And then I found that had fallen down, not sure how or when it was and even where it goes, but something to be done. Yes, that's still there. And yes, there's a few photos shown around the games room that just as untidy as ever. Decided to put the peanuts out before it was completely dark and top up the peanut feeder. And looks like June's rustled up food, but I decided to have a pasty. Memories of, yes, wearing my Rasta gear. Right, time to go down, armed with a cue ball, down to the Comrades Club. But of course, that was a Thursday night and very, very quiet, but still enjoyable. And then back home, and yes, they're watching some Marvel comic film, I think, with Lady, equally bored. Closed circuit TV, and I had all those strange numbers over the channel that had been playing up, but I fixed it by rebooting the power. But anyhow, time for bed, so that's the end of the summary. So now into all the photo shots, starting with Bentley and Toadie relaxing, watching each other intently. June watching tennis. Yes, there's Bentley. Yes, I did that little bit of work, if you call it that, putting a commentary on the photo trails from the day before. Oh yes. Yes, there was a phone call, had a couple of phone calls. That was a little bit of research on a topic that I think Terry had brought up in an email. Found an excellent article about it on Wikipedia. And that looks like I'm going out past the flatulent fairy. All that, look at that frost. But I think there's a light dusting of snow as well. And yeah, that car, June's car, doesn't seem to suffer from it. And I thought she'd done something. She said, oh no, don't seem to get so much trouble with that position. Maybe it catches the sun. Anyhow, I'm off down to the village, and I thought I'm going past a few places, including the Blend and Brew, which I ended up coming back to, but I carried on down out of curiosity over the railway. Yes, a few other places, into the Sun Cafe, but not into it because they were closed. I thought, oh, yeah, not open all the time. So then I went into the Blend and Brew and enjoyed the food there. And yes, usual things. And then what next? Well, probably force myself to go into the Comrades Club and spend a little bit of time there. Yeah, very quiet, of course. I check these things out at different times of the day on different days. So, looks as though I'm on my way out now, looking across the road, then off, out of the village, back home, and yes, there's the boat still there, hasn't started up, got very cold. Yes, that writing is still on there, we still don't know who did it, cameras didn't seem to pick them up. Anyhow, there's Toadie, there's June, there's Michelle in the lounge with Lady. Yeah, check the tracker. Yes, anybody could see Robin's in the Comrades Club. Oh, when he came out. Yeah, walking back. And he got back home okay. So, what's all that's looking at? Oh yes, that was planning a trip out to deliver the subs, but never happened. Yes, don't tell them I put that there. It needed to be put in the right place, and it was put in the right place. And then June decided she got 5 minutes help. Oh yeah, look at those little pussycat footprints. It could be a pussycat or it could be a fox. And yeah, so that's where I decided to take a few snaps around the garden. There's the moon. It didn't come out too badly considering. Just handheld camera. And yes, there's the memory of little Gingy, all fart a lot, and the owl, and then the laboratory. Yeah, it's all much the same. Lots of leaves all over everything, and that had fallen down. Yes, I didn't bother to spend time finding out where. Probably things like cats prowling around and knocked it down. It wasn't up there securely enough. Yes, we've got all that space there ready if and when we get round to having somebody help us putting things in the right place. Just a reminder, no change there for months rather than weeks. And yes, so that was good progress. So that's got to be done sometime. I'll have to work out where it went. Probably look at an old photo trail or something to see where it did go. Yeah, glance inside the laboratory, all much the same, including where the bits are for the robot boat work. Yes, Grumpy Old Men's Club. Found a member, I think that said. Yes, that's the second pond. Looking down the end. Yeah, leaves everywhere. Yeah, so that's the job that's top of the list. But I don't know what list. That's if somebody's got the time to pick them up. We've got the tools for it. Just a load of walking around and putting stuff down on the heap. I saw that had fallen apart as well. That's looking up. Yeah, that's probably the weight of the compost forced it open. So another handyman job. Probably attend to that before putting the leaves in it. Yeah, so more snaps. Working array around the side of the top pond. No real changes there, other than the fact that we got leaks in that pond to be done. The level was very low. Yes, that's still looking around the top pond. That's the second pond. Duck pond, but no ducks, of course. Still walking around taking snaps and looking up. Yeah, so it's getting to this time of the year when one can actually gather up all the dead plants and put them down the end in the compost heaps as part of tidying up the place ready for the spring. Yeah, small junk. That's June's greenhouse. I just opened the door briefly. And working our way around the side of the house. Yes, back door. Where I keep useful materials. There's the taps. Yes, there's some wood. Working around to where the dustbins are. And around the front. Yes, my bicycle. Sometime I might get around to that. Yeah, ice all over Samantha's car and that graffiti as well. And down to the front door. And inside, June's gave a thumbs up there, not sure what it was about. But yes, that's testing a servo to death for the robot boat. Make sure we've got spares and we know how long these servos last for a particular brand and batch. Yes, record of how untidy the games room is on the list of things to be done. And of course it'd be lovely to get that to the stage where we could actually play snooker or table tennis even, or even use it as a dining room. Yeah, time to put peanuts out. It's getting dark, but so it's light enough to see what you're doing and to take the odd photograph. And at the front porch, they'd all gone, and top up the feeder with a plastic flower pot there to stop things getting trapped inside. And yeah, it looks like listen to the Radio 4 news. And there's the naughty corner. Had a bit of a doze for a few minutes. I might have been more than a few minutes. And there's Toadie prowling around. Hello, Toadie. And there, because they're eating, she's rustled up chicken and chips. But I think, no, I'll have a burger. Burger? No, that's not a burger. That's a pasty, you stupid boy. Reminded me of that Pastafarian picture. And my Rastafarian wig, the dreadlocks. So I was able to enjoy that in the naughty corner. And thought, perhaps I'd take a walk down to the Comrades Club. 8:05. And I had only drunk half of my Peroni last time. And so I brought that back home with me. So I took it back. Yes, getting dark of course, but everything is much the same. Into the Comrades Club. And finished off my half bottle of Peroni and took a walk down for a little while to see what's going on. Nothing was, very quiet Thursday. So back home, yes, that's still there. And into the house, past the flatulent fairy. And yes, they're watching, yes, I said before, I think it's a Marvel comic thing. Yes, lady thinks it's boring as well. So I go over to the naughty corner where the closed circuit TV, and it's all those numbers over one of the channels, and so didn't know what that was about. Yeah, I tried various things, rebooting the router, didn't seem to make any difference. Still had that there. So then I thought, what do I do? Well, look at that mess of the wiring, but that is the power supply to that camera. So I unplugged it, plugged it back in, so it rebooted that camera. Everything came up okay. So, problem fixed, even though I didn't know what the cause was. So they're still watching the TV. Load of rubbish. And yeah, so time for bed. And that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 10th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photo shot that day, starting with that one taken near the end, which is Lady Michelle's pussycat, and Samantha gave Robin a lift over to Chertsey. He wanted to deliver a package over there. It was interesting exercise. Samantha hasn't learned how to use her sat-nav yet. Good job. There are road signs and everything. Anyhow, Robin forced himself to have a late lunch down at the Blend and Brew. Enjoyed that, and then into the Comrades Club for a little while. No photos, but it was quite late then by the time he got out. And then June had rustled up meatballs, I think, which he took into the naughty corner. And then said, perhaps I need some more exercise. So down into the Comrades Club. Spent quite a lot of time there. Saturday evening is quite busy. Always that a Friday evening, I lose track. Yes, So that's the end of the summary. So now into the photos as shot, starting with Samantha gave up trying to find out how to use the sat nav, but it was still on, guiding her somewhere else. No idea where it was, but she left it on with the music playing as well. And so we got a photo trail of our journey down through Sunningdale, and yeah, it's a bit blurred. That was that old house across Chobham Common, or part of it, coming into the common area. Yes, past the car park up to the... Oh, that sign has been knocked around a bit. And then we're going alongside the motorway to near what was the tank factory, is now Longcross Studios. Yes, over the motorway, past the Longcross car park. So we're now on the road towards Addleston. Yeah, we've got stuck behind that vehicle, but no problem. And yes, I remember the mushroom farm there, been there a while. Bit of a road works there, and yes, Squire's Garden Centre. And I recalled roughly where it was from a year ago, but fingers crossed the delivery was okay. So it looks like we're probably on our way back now. And yes, into Armitage Court and back home, and into the house. And there's June watching the news. Yes, there's Toadie relaxing. Check the tracker. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was. Yeah, why are you going there, he wonders, they wonder. So back home. Yeah, so that's all working. Yes, back here. Yeah, so June's still watching the news. So there we go, 3:20. Oh, need a bit of exercise. Very cold, but at least a clear sky. Into the village. And I took a run down. Oh yes, that amused me. Yeah, I wonder. Into the Blend and Brew for a late lunch. Coffee and quiche, that is, I think. Very enjoyable. And then into the Comrades Club. That's for the first time that day, till it got dark. And back home. And into the house. Yes, past the Flatulent Fairy. And looks like June's rustling up something to eat. Coming up to 5 to 6, yes, meatballs. So, on this occasion I didn't eat out in the village. Took the food into the naughty corner, enjoyed that. Coming up to 9 o'clock, listen to the Radio 4 news. And then, yes, time to take a walk down into the village. They're watching something on the television in the kitchen. Yes, ice on the windows of the cars. And into the Comrades Club. And then out after several hours, I think that was. Enjoyable games of pool and conversation and things. And there's Lady and Michelle watching the telly. Time for bed, so that's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 11th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photo shot that day. Yes, that's Alexander, after a long phone call from him. Great to see him. And oh yes, those removable 20 terabyte disk drives. Well, not removable disk. Anyhow, trip down to the village. Yes, it was cold. Lovely blue sky, but freezing cold. Yes, into the Blend and Brew for, yes, scrambled egg with salmon on toast and coffee. And then a brief time in the Comrades Club. Well, fairly brief, not sure what it was. Might have been an hour, might have been less. Then home. Yes, frost everywhere. June's watching the tennis from Australia, I think. I checked the tracker. Yes, anybody could see where Robin was, including where in the village. And then that long phone call. It was, I think it was, what was it? 1 point. Oh, it doesn't matter. 1.6 hours, I think. That's Toadie watching things. And June's rustling up food. I think there was a stir fry. And Samantha's busy in her bedroom doing embroidery and watching the TV. That's Michelle's cat. So I take the food into the naughty corner in the lounge, 9:15, and yeah, they're watching TV. So then down to the village, into the Comrades Club, and there's several hours in there, enjoyable conversations. And back home, yes, Michelle with cat lady there, see, coming up. So time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. So now in all the photos in the order shot, yes, that had arrived, which are those 20 terabyte capacity removable drives. They called them removable disk drives once, but of course it's semiconductor memory. Fingers crossed, copying a folder, and obviously to limitation of the speed. Oh, lots of things happening in parallel in terms of conversations with Martin, and yes, and yes, other things going on, the testing a servo to death for the robot boat and putting the battery on charge, and views of the untidy games room. Sometime or other we might get the required help to tidy things up and put them in the right place. It's a matter of doing things in the right order, as I keep saying. What do you do? And oh yeah, so Samantha has come downstairs, and yes, she may be learning a bit of housework from June about cooking and things. Now that copying is going very slowly, and I did some sums and worked out 21 days to copy that, obviously within the limitations of the interfaces. June's decided to tidy up things in below the kitchen sink. Again, she hasn't got Samantha learning from it. Yeah, that closed circuit TV channel still isn't working. It was working for a while, and then it stopped again. No time to work it out. Looks like I'm off down to the village, and yes, I took the cue ball with me in case it was needed, but that was the first trip down in the early afternoon. Yes, into the go slow area, and past the Comrades Club, and into the Blend and Brew cafe. Enjoyed my coffee and yes, scrambled egg with salmon on toast. Looks like I'm walking back now, and yep, that was spent quite a time in there. No, I didn't. That was the first trip. Oh yes, I saw that somebody had dropped that several days ago, so I put it in a more conspicuous position, so whoever it was would say, there's my hat. Yeah, frost everywhere and ice. Yes, there's the flatulent fairy. June's watching tennis from Hobart, Australia, I guess that is. And yes, I checked the tracker, confirmed. Yeah, anybody could see where Robin was. And back home, just here. And then a long phone call from Alexander, and yes, as we were talking, I was checking things, aiding the conversation. Then listened to the Radio 4 news, with Toadie taking an interest, of course. And then June's rustling up food. I think that was a stir fry. And yes, Samantha's still busy doing embroidery in her room or watching tennis. And that's in Michelle's room, Pussycat Lady, Michelle's pussycat, with Michelle's toys, and then back to the kitchen and take my food into the... Yes, do you want any, Toadie? No, he says, don't think so. Into the naughty corner where I can relax and, yes, check in how much of those discs. I think I set something else copy in then. Oh yes, that was a photo that came through from Alexander after that long phone call. And yes, 9:15 in the evening. They're watching some drama, I think. And I'm off down to the village, into the Comrades Club. Yes, spent a few hours there, enjoyable time, chatting, etc. Back home, past the Flatulent Fairy, and yes, just Michelle up there with Lady, watching something on the TV. So, yeah, there we go, look, coming up to 20 to midnight, time for bed, so that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 12th of January 2025, starting with a summary of the photo shot that day. Yes, that's Lady, Michelle's pussycat, near the end of the photo trail. And there's Toadie on the high ground looking down at Bentley relaxing in the hall. And yes, Bentley does spend quite a bit of time over. So yeah, coming up to the afternoon and decided, yes, I'll have a late brunch. So down to the village after coming out, yes, down into the slow area, go slow, into the blend and brew. Yes, had a lovely snack lunch there, into the Comrades Club. Yeah, spent a bit of time there till coming out. It's dark then, and back home. And yeah, the ladies were relaxing, watching news or something. I checked the tracker, anybody could see my time in the Comrades Club, and then I got a call from Alexander, and yeah, it brought back memories of my days at East Sam's. And yeah, so Jim's rustled up pizza for the back end of the day, so I take it into the naughty corner in the lounge, and then I decide, I need a bit of exercise, so back down to the Comrades Club again. And yes, I took 1 or 2 snaps there, but not many, and enjoyed the time there, and then out and back home. And yes, they're watching some drama or other, Marvel Comics or something. So time for bed, and that's the end of the summary. So now into all the photos in the order shot. Yes, that didn't come out very well. That's Toadie occupying high ground, looking down on Bentley, relaxing as he is prone to do. And yes, what we got next? But at the time there said not till 20 to there. So I'll take my cue ball just in case somebody asks to borrow it. The leaded one, that is. And June's doing tidying up and things in the kitchen, probably watching tennis when it's on. Yeah, a few snaps. Everything is pretty well the same there in the games room, very untidy. And look out the window. Yeah, just a record that nothing's changed for ages now on that. Everything's in the right place. Completely the wrong place. Right, off on my walk down to the village, past the robot boat, past Robin's Corner. Oh yes, that glove. No, not a glove, it's a hat that I'd found in the road, and I'd put that down the day before. So, into the go slow area, past the Comrades Club, and yes, opposite Tesco, into the Blend and Brew. Yes, had a lovely late brunch there. And yes, after that, where do we go next? Well, into the Comrades Club, of course. And it was pretty late by the time I came out. Well, it gets dark early. And so back home. And yes, the Flatulent Fairy. Been guarding the doorstep for some time now. Oh yes, there's Lady relaxing in the kitchen with Michelle, watching, it could be the news at that time. And yes, check the tracker. Anybody interested would know where Robin was. So yeah, that was the time in the village, the Blend and Brew, and then the Comrades Club, and then back home. And then I got a call from Alexander, and yes, we've got a section there up on the ESAMS page now. Of course, everything he says brings back memories of those years there. And yeah, so that update's been done, including the Barossa operation. And yeah, so they're still watching. Oh yeah, June's rustled up the pizza, so I take a small amount of that into the naughty corner in the lounge, where I can relax in front of the closed circuit TV. And then in the kitchen there's Lady, still relaxing, watching whatever, that's some drama I suppose, probably Marvel Comics or something. Right, time to get a bit of exercise and go down to the village and into the Comrades Club. Yeah, 1 or 2 snaps in the corner there. My 0% Peroni, relax, enjoy any conversations, then back out, make my way home. Getting in fairly late there, not too late though. There's Lady dozing, and they're watching, oh, whatever that drama is. Yes, you can guess by the characters. Yeah, put the tracker on charge, and yeah, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. I should have warned you that they would be long photo trails. So we're now going back through the untidy games room. Yes, lots of things here, more robot boats and things, including Alex's sailing saucer. And we're now going to go into material that was shot, might be a year or 2 back now, on the subjects of global warming and the prophetic words of James Lovelock, and also my thoughts about the DVLA, Driver Vehicle Licensing Agency. Quick glance at the kitchen. There's June's here having a cup of coffee, watching tennis of course. And I didn't mention it before, but Baldrick's cunning plan this last year has been to get Samantha out of her room watching tennis all the time and learn housework and do housework for June, to take the load off June. And not only that, but odds and ends, like, and we did make a start putting up Homer, but not very much house. But hopefully progress will be made on that front. So we'll see. It means that Robin can spend more time relaxing, not working hard, and spend more time in the village. Some people call it networking, but others being lazy and spending time with friends in places like cafes and pubs and the Comrades Club. So I'm now going to run into that material that was shot whenever it was on the subject of global warming, the prophetic words of James Lovelock, and Robin's thoughts about the DVLA. And I think the material started about here. Now, what I put on the screen, because global warming is rearing itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels, to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelocks said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And, right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
We've seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes. That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worried for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money. And there are probably other things as well. But as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded. We've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday. That'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up this video by saying, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have. Yes, it's now middle of March 2024, and the font's changed quite a bit. I'll have to change the copyright statement at the end, but the message is the same. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy life while we can. Oh yeah, my hair's grown a bit since then.